Picture this: a people living in a land that isn't their own, surrounded by a culture that is both foreign and familiar. This is the story of the Jews in ancient Egypt, a tale of survival, adaptation, and an unwavering commitment to their identity that remains one of the most compelling narratives in history. When we think of Jews in ancient Egypt, the image that often comes to mind is one of hardship and slavery. While it's true that the Jews were subjected to brutal conditions, their story is far more complex. They were not merely slaves, they were also residents, deeply intertwined with the social and cultural fabric of Egypt. They learned the language, observed the customs, and even participated in the local economy. Yet despite these influences, they managed to hold onto the core of their Jewish identity, preserving their beliefs, traditions, and sense of community. One of the most intriguing aspects of Jewish life in Egypt is the cultural exchange that occurred between the Jews and the Egyptians. The Jews maintained their monotheistic beliefs, worshiping a single god in a land where polytheism was the norm. But this didn't mean they were isolated from Egyptian religious practices. In fact, there's compelling evidence to suggest that Jewish religious practices were influenced by their time in Egypt. Take, for example, the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred Jewish relic that is central to many biblical stories. Some scholars argue that the concept of the Ark may have been inspired by Egyptian religious symbols. In ancient Egypt, it was common to carry sacred objects in ornately decorated boxes or shrines, often guarded by divine beings. The similarities between these Egyptian practices and the Jewish Ark of the Covenant suggest that the Jews may have adapted this idea, infusing it with their own religious significance. But the influence was not one way. The Jews, while adopting certain aspects of Egyptian culture, remained distinct and separate. Their ability to navigate this delicate balance, adapting to their surroundings while preserving their own identity, is a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. They were not simply passive recipients of Egyptian culture, they actively engaged with it, absorbing what was useful and discarding what was not. This cultural interplay is also evident in the story of the Exodus. The Jews' departure from Egypt was not just a physical escape from slavery, it was a profound act of cultural and spiritual preservation. They took with them not only their physical belongings but also a wealth of knowledge and experiences that would shape their future. The Exodus is a story of liberation, but it's also a story of how the Jews used their time in Egypt to strengthen their identity, ensuring that they would survive as a distinct people. One of the most enduring symbols of this period is the celebration of Passover. This annual festival, observed by Jews around the world, commemorates the Exodus and the Jews' liberation from slavery. But it's more than just a historical commemoration, it's a powerful reminder of how the Jews used their time in Egypt to fortify their identity. The meticulous observance of Passover, with its specific rituals and customs, reflects the Jews' commitment to remembering their past and preserving their heritage. Another curiosity lies in how the Jews viewed their time in Egypt. While it was undoubtedly a period of hardship, it was also a time of growth and learning. The Jews did not simply endure their time in Egypt, they used it to adapt, evolve, and prepare for the challenges that lay ahead. This period of cultural exchange, adaptation, and resilience is a key part of what has allowed the Jewish people to survive and thrive throughout history. The story of the Jews in ancient Egypt is a powerful reminder of the complexities of identity and survival. It challenges us to rethink what it means to be a people in exile, to live in a land that is not your own, and to adapt to a culture that is both foreign and familiar. The Jews in ancient Egypt were not just passive victims of circumstance, they were active participants in a cultural exchange that, while fraught with difficulty, enriched their heritage and fortified their identity. This narrative is a striking example of how a people can adapt to their surroundings without losing themselves. The Jews in ancient Egypt managed to preserve their identity, even as they absorbed aspects of the dominant culture. This delicate balance between adaptation and preservation is a hallmark of Jewish history and a testament to the resilience of the Jewish people. As we explore the vast and intricate history of the Jews, it's stories like these that remind us of the enduring power of identity, culture, and faith. The Jews' experience in ancient Egypt is not just a chapter in their history, it's a profound lesson in the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of cultural identity. This peculiar curiosity from Jewish history continues to intrigue and inspire us, offering insights into how we, too, can navigate the complexities of our own identities in an ever-changing world.